Hello guys, how you doing? You alright, Red Pill Phil? Hope you're loving this weather. Thought I'd do this video outside in my backyard. Thank you to everyone who's subscribing. Over 10,000. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. There's a few different points I want to talk about today. There's a few points that are more relevant as an update. Starting probably with the march I'll be attending this Saturday on my home turf in Manchester. It's going to be the FLA. It's going to be at Castlefield Bowl, 12 o'clock, midday. So I am going to go down to that. There's also there's going to be counter protest, going to be somewhere dotting about, hanging out of every orifice, no doubt. I've just been looking on a website here, Stand Up to Racism, and they can't stop talking about it. They're paying more interest in the counter protest of it than they are the protesters protesting, if that makes any sense. There's so much information here, so much disinformation here, the usual shit. It says here, Manchester demonstration, don't let the racists divide us, oppose the Football Lads Alliance. So everyone's a racist, straight away. Doesn't make any sense. Can't validate it, there's no proof to suggest that. They just label everyone there. So we've got Saturday the 19th, the Football Lads Alliance, FLA, has said they will demonstrate in Manchester. They want to exploit an anniversary of tragic bombings at Manchester Arena. They want to exploit it. I don't see anyone exploiting it. I see people that are concerned, of all different class levels, all different ethnicities. They're all slowly waking up that there's issues around this country that's going on. There's terrorists being allowed to be able to just waltz in and out the country. Dot about to a couple of other countries known on the terrorist list, and learn to make a few bombs, and then jog your way back to England, and boom, go and use the bloody bomb. So people are waking up to that and not ultimately believing the media. So does that make you racist because you've actually got a critical thinking brain? No matter what your skin tone, no matter what your ethnicity, no matter what your size, no matter what your gender. No, look, they blanket the bloody lot of yous and me. So this is, how can you win with these guys? Because what are they doing to stop the radicalisation, the Islamification that's being done in a deceitful, sneaky way in this country? What are they doing about it? If they wanted to address it by doing it by not being racist, apparently, I would support it. If they're going to eradicate the jihadist mentality in this country, if they're going to block people putting nasty, vicious things online, if they can infiltrate jihadist circles within this country, stop it, quell it, deport them all, put people on trial that have said and done things, if they can do all that, I'm up for it. So you'll find that the FLA, the DFLA, all the others, the Veterans Against Terrorism, they're all singing from the same hymn sheet. Pissed off. Different classes of people, different ethnicities, all coming together with the common thought. So how does that make you a racist? That makes you still having more than one brain cell. But these guys have got such a twisted mentality that that's how they interpret it, and there's nothing you can say or do that will change that perception. I don't get it. The more marches I go to, the more it confirms what I already think, is that these guys are a load of wrong-uns. because the way they label all marches is not accurate. It's totally inaccurate, and I would love them to provide the proof. Within any organisation, you're going to get an element of racism. Within Stand Up to Racism, you will get an element that will be racist in one way or the other. They will be sexist in one way or the other. They do not hold the moral frigging chalice at all. In fact, you could actually say with studies that shows that liberal ways are more likely to steal, more likely to rob, more likely to be deceitful. And how many from the left are paedophiles anyway? I'm not saying right are not paedophiles, but I'm not a left or right person. But I'm just saying, if you're going to start that throwing punches, there's many punches that can be thrown at you. How many Labour governments, leaders, deputy leaders, assistants? Just saying. So don't start. There's no need. So I'm going there. I mean, if I'm going to be honest, I'm glad FLA have managed to sort themselves out, particularly with the leadership. Got nothing against John Meehan, but there was questions, and because of them questions weren't being adhered to, then the FLA formed, which for me, I kind of see as a more integral unit, but I've got no disrespect towards the FLA at all. In fact, I'm going down to document it, to put it on my channel, because we all stand together. They're not just my enemies overnight. We're all brothers, seriously. So I'm going down there, I'm going to film it, I'm going to do exactly what I do on any other march. I'm not treating it any differently. They're in my hometown. They can actually be asked coming up here and try to voice some concerns in what is considered a very liberal freaking city. Fucking crazy. Crazy. So, for that, you're a racist. Don't get it. So I'm fully supporting them. I'm going to be there. Like I say, Castlefield Bowl, 12 o'clock. I'm going to try and get there as early as possible. I know John's doing other bits and bobs. He's going out flying in and probably giving the public a load of shit on the street. Good on him. So that's that. That's this coming Saturday, the 19th. But also today and yesterday, I've been in the background on the phone to different people sorting out different things. Billy from Parents Against Grooming. I don't know if you remember, if you've seen the videos when I went up to Rochdale to see Billy, also Danny, and I spoke to Mike as well, and various others that were there that were in an organisation called Parents Against Grooming. They're basically doing the policeman's work, being very diligent, very vigilant, but being civil, being professional, and seeking out people of interest, I think, as Mike put it. He puts it beautifully. So, on the phone with Billy, he announced to me that there's going to be another meeting on the 25th of May. So, I think that's next Friday. So, I'm going to be going up there. He also wanted to inform me that there was an interview that I don't want to say too much about it until I actually do it, other than to say that this is going to be probably the biggest interview I've done in terms of the topic matter, and the person's quite happily okay being filmed and speaking about the issues in hand. So this is going to be the most serious. How to approach it, I've got to approach it very delicately. So I'm looking forward to it, but it's not yet happened, so I don't want to say too much until it actually happens. So we was talking about that. He also happened to mention about Linda. Linda mentioned to me a few days ago that her son, if you remember Linda Phillips, was the lady who wants more answers in regards to Knoll View School in the 90s, what was going on. I had a brilliant interview with her. It extended even further to the social worker that assisted her in getting some documents and whatnot, and was still doing a hell of a lot of work. It then moved to interviewing that chap, Martin. Hope he's doing fantastically well. What a guy. And she basically mentioned that because of what I've been doing, maybe the very fact that I'm actually doing videos, she was just wanted to mention that Craig had felt he'd got the inspiration to speak up about what had happened to him, and to go to the police and report it, and hopefully the police will do what they're supposed to do and try and establish the truth and apprehend those responsible. That's what you expect the police to do. That's why we pay the frigging taxes. But more to the point is that they're doing less of that and more chasing you down for your opinion rather than actually establishing true crime. So I felt very honoured when Linda told me that, and I was optimistic because I thought, with everything, the momentum that's happened since Rochdale, you know, Farnell going, and now Craig deciding he wants to get up and make statements, and other interviews that have happened in Rochdale highlighting it and thinking, oh, you know, they're getting what they deserve now, Rochdale. Rochdale people need their plight to be heard. And I felt it was happening. So Billy then tells me that basically after giving an interview, which Craig, I think, intimated that it was a waste of time because they wasn't prepared to fully sit down and listen to his statement. They were interrupting him a lot. They were interjecting with different bits of information before he could get his story out, which, as we all know, you start doing that, you change the actual direction of the story. You'd like to think when they're going there to take statements from people, they just shut the fuck up, they've got a pad there, they just ask basic questions and then let the person relay every bit of information, because the more you stutter them or make them think along different lines, the more that you're less likely to get the accurate information that you need. You need it all out. You need it to hear it in their words. So it seemed weird that they kept interjecting and then just saying, oh, by, you know, whatever they were doing. So it resulted in them basically turning round and telling Craig that it's exceeded the statute of limitations. Which I don't know whether that's factually correct, but that's what they've said. So I'm surmising from that they're not going to go any further with it. Now, Billy was pissed when he told me. I think he was going on Facebook and talking about it. And I think Billy mentioned something about getting legal action involved now, getting a solicitor, a barrister involved and seeing what legally they can do about this, to overturn this or whatever. So I phoned Linda, and Linda was pretty much saying the same thing. He was absolutely devastated from what I hear, Craig. He was pissed off. You can imagine. Any rape victim, any abuse victim, whatever you've gone through, you've been quiet for all these years for whatever reason, you know, that you've kept quiet. You've actually got the confidence, gained the confidence to talk to someone about it, and they just shut the door in your face, pretty much. So, whether it's a gender thing, whether they would have paid more interest if it was a woman, I don't know. I don't know. Whether they didn't take it as serious because it was a lad. I mean, we're not talking about sexual abuse here, we're talking about physical abuse, but abuse is abuse. And some of the actual abuses is that. So, you know, just because it's non-sexual doesn't, oh well, you know, just so you've had a couple of punches, slaps, whatever, you know, get over it. I don't know whether that was, I don't know what the way of thinking was, whether it was resources or what, I've no idea. So I've no idea the state of mind at the moment. I think when I spoke to Linda, they calmed down somewhat, and then they're obviously looking at future options now. But if I know Linda, she's not going to give up. That's only emboldened her now to kind of try a different direction. So there is something positive to know that doors are opening, even if they're getting slammed again. At some point, they will be able to slam that door. So I'm optimistic for the future for them guys, and I'll support them anyway. I'll be going up on the 25th. Hopefully they might have more to say if Linda's there on the day. I'll try and get an interview from Linda or Craig, see if they want to talk about that particular incident or whatever. So yeah. And one last point. At the May the 6th, the Day for Freedom in London, I was at a certain area where I could film the march, where all kind of press were there and whatnot. I felt honoured that I could be there, to be honest, you know. I had all the space to do what I wanted. I didn't have to bustle round people. Felt sorry for people like Simon Sideways, who's got more, the Reverend, who's got more subbers than me, but yet he couldn't come in. So it was a bit strange that it probably could have been more thought out to allow certain people in who were, you know, just as appreciative as I would have been, and I was. So I felt very privileged to be in there. Tried to help Simon, but it didn't happen, got gripped. But when I was there, I got talking to another journalist, and it turned out this journalist was from BBC Three. So we were talking, and she was talking about they're doing some programme on Trump, and would I like to be involved in it? So I basically said to her, well, I'm a Trumper, you know, I'm all up for what he's doing, not everything he's doing, but what he stands for. I mean, let's face it, it's either him or Hillary Clinton. My God, you don't want to hear. So, and I do think Trump, it represents a more positive way to empower people, or at least that is the mantra. So that wins with me over someone that just wants to siphon off the world with the Clinton Foundation and do all kinds of trafficking and all kinds of other sinister things that the Clintons have been accused of over the years, and they try to label Trump as a wrong-un. Let's put the microscope on Clinton and all her foals and what she's been up to. So there was only one winner in that race anyway. That's the logical one for anyone with a brain. So she was talking about this, and I said, oh, well, I might be interested. I didn't know when it was, what it involved, but just generally. But I was aware it was a BBC I was talking to. So I gave him a number. Now, I don't know whether that was the right thing to do. Thinking, what have I done here? A couple of days later, she tries to ring me. I wasn't available. Get a voicemail. I ring her back. She wasn't available. Give her a voicemail. And then she just kind of sends a text back, oh, I'll get back in touch with you in a couple of days. Once she kind of, you know, because I was kind of letting her know I'm back at work now. I kind of just need to concentrate on my work for a few days. She's like, all right, no problem. Next thing you know, about 2 or 3 days later, maybe more, I get a random call from a random number. Now, anyone who's got my number knows that if you're not ID'd, I won't pick it up. I don't pick up any random numbers through my phone. Call me, whatever, but that's just me. It's like a healthy fear in a sense, because I just don't know. So if that person wants me bad enough, they will leave a text using that same number saying, hi, it's just, and then I'll get back to you. You know, that's the way I am. So call me funny, whatever. So this random number, and leaves a voicemail because I want about, and it's some lady from the BBC, not BBC Three, but from the BBC, and my colleague has passed the number. I'm thinking, oh, nice, right. So you're all sat in this room, colleagues, and you just decide that, oh, right, we'll just, yeah, have that number. I don't know who's got it, so I was kind of a bit naughty. That was naughty. Would have felt that no matter what, the courtesy is, if you're going to pass someone else's number, you get in touch with the person that you're going to pass the number off. them and go, this person wants your number, you don't mind if I pass it to him, do you? I mean, as we speak now, I'm getting another random number coming in, which I'm certainly not going to answer. I'm going to decline it. So there you go. So what's going on? You know what I mean? So I get a phone call. It's from the BBC. Got certain ideas. So I'm juggling over the next day or so whether to actually call back. I've just called back before. Wasn't available. She called me back about 10 minutes ago, asking me if I wanted to be at some programme this Friday. I think it's BBC 3 regarding the flag and how the government has told basically football supporters not to fly the flag when they're abroad. So I'll give her my opinion on that, which is totally bang out of order. Freaking hell, if that's not a double standard. And I told her that it was media like hers that have created this problem because you've demonised that flag, you demonise everyone that wants to fly that flag because you've made it a certain connotation, you've changed the narrative, yeah? But then you can flip the narrative back that when the Queen goes by, you're quite happy to fly that flag. There's certain connotations where you're happy for that flag to be flown, and there's certain connotations where you just want to demonise anyone who's got it in the window at home, got it in the car, flies it through one of them stick things out your window, or just generally walks around protesting with it. It means one thing. You might as well be SS. And that's the media. And that's what I said to her, in a sense, politely, you know, over a polite conversation. I wasn't having it with her at all. She was trying to invite me on a show, which I kind of politely declined because I've got work. I mean, she actually said my expenses could be paid and this, that and the other, and means going down to London, and I want to be kind of in place and have my head in place for this march on Saturday. So not only that, even if I could have my expenses paid, I really can't be away from my work for one day at this moment. I can't take my eyes off it. I've just got to get this particular job done. So I just couldn't do it. I was intrigued, but she's got my number. See what happens. So that was it. Didn't go any further than that, but I did kind of let her know that she asked me that if there was anyone I knew that might want to do the show. And I'm like, well, there might be, but at the same time, you only have to mention the BBC to most people and they'll just switch off, because even if you're going to film it, people still think you're going to edit it like mad and just going to... And they're proven right, aren't they, to think that? So no one trusts the BBC. So said there's that element, and she took that on board, because she actually said, well, you know, for her, she was saying she's in a catch-22 because she wants to get more people to talk to, but she's finding that same thing is coming to her more and more. No one trusts her, no one wants to talk to her, and even if I do talk to you, even if I do film me, you're still going to do this, you're still going to do that. So she's finding it hard, but whether she can do anything about it, I don't know. Whether she was genuine and wants to do anything about it, I've no idea. But at least I got to say it to her. So, and she was nice about it. And she's got my number for any future stuff, so we'll see how it goes. I just thought I'd let you know all the little goings on that have been going on in the past few days. I've not just been painting walls, been doing a lot of phone calls and sorting out little bits and bobs. And there's other interviews I need to work on as well with our big Baz. So that's just an update, guys. Hope you're enjoying what bit of sun. See a bit of cloud coming here, but for the most part, beautiful blue skies. So up here in Manchester, hopefully it continues. We have a good march on Saturday and it's seen in a positive light, but it's not going to be, because you've got these stand up to racism muppets that are going to be stood there virtue signalling. So we'll see how it goes, but I'll try and get as much footage as I can and try and get it all uploaded as quick as I can. So like and subscribe, guys. Love you all, even the pissing haters. Ta-ra.